Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Counting on Jill Duggar shares relationship update with parents. Counting on alum Jill Duggar Dillard is known as the rebellious daughter of Jim Bob and Michelle. She's been estranged from her parents for years, and things got worse between them when she released a book about her challenging past. However, Jill recently took to social media to share shocking updates regarding her relationships with Jim Bob and Michelle. Keep reading to see her statements. Counting on. Jill Duggar shares how Jim Bob reacted to her book. Jill has made some shocking revelations about her father, Jim Bob, in her memoir, Counting the Cost. Some of them were about how she was mistreated by her parents. Jill also exposed Jim Bob's manipulations on the TV show, adding that he lied to the IRS about their TV show's earnings. The Counting on alum also shared some of the most disturbing practices of the IBLP in her book. But even before the release of her book, Jill claimed that Jim Bob allegedly threatened his kids that they would get cut off from inheritance if they tried to speak against him or their mother. Jill shares relationship update with parents. Jill Duggar Dillard recently took to IG stories to answer several fan questions. One of them was about her current status with Jim Bob and Michelle. According to the former Counting on star, it's still complicated, but she feels like they are in a rebuilding process with healthy boundaries. Jill added that they try to hang out whenever it works well and have the bandwidth to navigate things. Derek's wife even shared a photo with her mother, Michelle, but she still couldn't share a photo with her dad due to their awkward situation. Counting on. Jill Duggar has been close to her siblings, despite her complicated status with Jim Bob and Michelle. Jill assures everyone that she's still close with her siblings. The Counting on alum attended Jana and Jason's respective weddings this year. She also likes to share clips and pictures whenever she's hanging out with some of her siblings. Jill Duggar Dillard also suffered a heartbreaking miscarriage last April. The majority of the family, including Jim Bob and Michelle, came to the funeral of her stillborn daughter, Isla Marie. Many fans also hoped it created a bridge for Jill to finally reconcile with her parents. Jill Duggar, known for her role on the TLC reality series 19 Kids and Counting and later Counting On, has always been a central figure in the Duggar family narrative. From a young age, she was part of the strict, devoutly religious household, where Jim Bob and Michelle Duggar raised their children under fundamentalist Christian values. As one of the older siblings, Jill took on a caretaker role for her younger brothers and sisters and was often seen as the loyal daughter who followed her parents' guidance without question. However, the years since her departure from the show and the family's public spotlight have shown that Jill's journey is far more complex than anyone could have imagined. Recently, Jill shared an unexpected relationship update regarding her parents that caught the attention of her fans and critics alike. For years, her relationship with Jim Bob and Michelle had been strained, especially following her and husband Derek Dillard's decision to step away from the family reality show and speak out about financial and emotional concerns. But in a candid post on social media, accompanied by photos of her family spending time outdoors, Jill revealed the nuanced status of her bond with her parents. A rocky past. To understand the significance of Jill's recent update, it's important to revisit the history that led to the family rift. The departure of Jill and Derek from Counting On marked the beginning of public tensions between them and Jim Bob. The couple revealed that they had not been compensated adequately for their appearances on the show, with Jill stating that the money was controlled by her father. This revelation painted a picture of financial power imbalances and the Duggars' complex dynamics. Moreover, Jill took steps that shocked many fans who were familiar with the family's strict adherence to conservative, patriarchal values. She pursued a midwife certification, enrolled her sons in public school, and openly supported her husband when he criticized the show and the family patriarch for their practices. These actions demonstrated Jill's desire for independence, something that clashed with the deeply embedded beliefs her parents held about obedience and family unity. The tension further escalated when Jill's memoir, co-authored with Derek, provided a more in-depth look at her struggles. She spoke openly about her emotional and mental health, the demands of reality TV, and the way she and her husband felt they had been manipulated. Fans and critics alike could see that Jill's departure was not just physical, but symbolic of her breaking away from years of control and finding her own voice. The recent breakthrough. In her recent post, Jill shared images of her, Derek, and their 3 children enjoying a picnic at a local park. The setting was serene. Lush trees surrounded the family. Sunlight peeked through the branches, and smiles were abundant. The caption, however, was what truly caught people's attention. "Rebuilding is never simple, but it's worth every moment. Thankful for the small steps and open hearts. Love you, Mom and Dad," she wrote, followed by a heart emoji. For fans who had followed the ups and downs of Jill's relationship with her parents, this statement was both surprising and hopeful. It marked the first time in years that Jill had publicly acknowledged a positive step in her relationship with Jim Bob and Michelle. Speculation immediately swirled. Had there been a private reconciliation? Were the Duggars beginning to acknowledge the boundaries Jill had set? Or was this a calculated peace offering, more symbolic than substantial? Subtle signs of change. Close observers of the Duggar family have noted subtle signs that pointed to an evolving dynamic even before Jill's announcement. At the last few family gatherings that were shared on social media, Jill's absence had been noticeable. While many assumed it was due to ongoing conflicts, there were occasional hints that communication hadn't been entirely severed. Michelle Duggar's birthday post, for example, included mentions of all her children, including Jill, though more distantly than others. This recent outing seemed to suggest that both sides had taken steps toward compromise. Family insiders have hinted that Jill's growing willingness to re-engage with her parents stems from a desire to heal old wounds and provide a connection between her children and her grandparents. The conversation reportedly started with small gestures, a handwritten letter from Michelle, followed by a carefully planned phone call between Jim Bob and Derek. The couple's therapist had advised that re-establishing boundaries while acknowledging past grievances was essential for any genuine reconciliation. Navigating boundaries and beliefs. The road to a healthier relationship hasn't been without its challenges. Jill remains firm in her belief that certain aspects of her upbringing were not conducive to the emotional and mental well-being of children. She has openly stated that while she values many of the lessons her parents taught her, she does not intend to replicate the same strict, insular environment for her own children. Instead, Jill and Derek focus on fostering open communication, questioning traditions, and supporting their children's unique paths. This progressive approach is one reason why any form of rapprochement with her parents carries inherent tension. Jim, Bob, and Michelle have, after all, been the architects of the beliefs that kept their children in line for decades. Yet for Jill, moving forward does not mean erasing the past. It's about understanding, not justifying, she said in a recent interview. "I want my kids to know where they came from, but I also want them to know they have the power to choose their path." For Jim, Bob, and Michelle, the situation is equally complex. Allowing room for different beliefs in a family that values unity can feel like a threat to their identity. However, sources say that Michelle, in particular, has shown more empathy in recent years, perhaps influenced by watching her grandchildren grow up in households that are distinct from her own. The road ahead, the question remains, can Jill and her parents truly bridge the gap without compromising the core beliefs that make them who they are? While their recent interactions provide hope, the healing process is far from complete. Fans of the Duggar family continue to watch closely, rooting for a future where love and understanding outweigh the need for conformity. In her social media post, Jill ended with a line that resonated deeply with her followers. "Sometimes growth isn't loud. It's the quiet moments where you choose kindness over resentment." For now, it seems the Dillard family is moving forward with cautious optimism. Whether this tentative peace leads to more meaningful changes or remains a moment of shared effort remains to be seen. What is certain is that Jill Duggar is embracing the strength to carve out her own story, one that honors both her past and the life she is building beyond it.